that I really think came from the Arco complex in Delaware County, where many, many children in the Monarch mind control system were brought for special testing and abuse. But my first abuse that I remember was being in the cradle and my father forcing me to fellitate him. And there I am in the cradle, so I don't know what I'm doing, but he's forcing me to fellate him. And my mother is looking over his shoulder at me. And my father is sexually enjoying my fellatio on him. And as a baby, I'm thinking this must be, something similar to, feeding on my mother's breast, right? So my father is getting off sexually. I'm no more than a month old. And my mother is behind him, looking over his shoulder. And she is manifesting pure anger and hatred of the dark fourth dimensional entities, while my father is in a joyful state of sexual pleasure. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is this is one of the keys to what they do to their children all the time. Two totally opposite signals are given to the child all the time. You say, I love you, I hate you, but it goes further than that, folks. I mean, there's spirit behind what they do, too. It's not just the words. It's not just the action. But my father, enjoyed himself, ejaculated in my face, and then immediately after that, he would manifest the what I call the Smith entity, the archonic entity, the consciousness of the archons, and he would instantly go from a state of pleasure and happiness to one of rage and total malevolence, and he would pinch me or grab and twist my arm and put me in physical pain. And they did this to me. I mean, I can remember fellating my father when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And he would, after he would ejaculate, and my mother would always be there, the same mode of looking at the scene, saying, "This is disgusting, I hate you." And my father in the opposite psychological mode of sexual pleasure. And then when he was finished and he had ejaculated, he would then do something like spit in my face and call me a faggot, or hit me, or, grab me and twist my arm and, totally in a nanosecond become a monster from him being a person who was enjoying my pleasuring. And for a little kid, you go through this for 3 or 4 years, you don't know that what you're doing is wrong, because in the first 6 years of your life, you're in a hypnagogic trance. You have 2 of the lowest brainwave patterns, and you can't differentiate any information. So you're hopeless when it comes to what your parents do to you. And this is why the world has never changed. Because in this programmable state, which Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about and which Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, we have our subconscious programmed. And that subconscious, through your adult life, runs 95% of your beliefs and attitudes. And so you're transferring into the universal field that makes up this reality 400 bits of information every second. And when you have 7 billion people transferring 400 million bits of information every second, you have enough information to produce this seemingly real world.